All right. What's up, everybody? We are going into a best of 3 quarterfinal series here between Gumiho, representing Sidestorm Gaming in the top right, and for some reason, building a forward barracks. I think it's so he can build Marines and lift it to kill an Overlord that hides on the pillar. Gumiho with some next level thinking ahead of time. Solar in the bottom left is just like playing a normal build. Let's watch this from Solar's vision as he sees this barracks. Does he see it? Maybe he barely misses it. He sees a Reaper there, and that Reaper was very early, which should make him a little suspicious, because that's a bit too early for a Reaper to be out from a barracks in the main and popping already. He's going to send his Overlord north and be like, what? What the hell? It's actually 2 Reapers as well. So you notice he's got a drone hidden on the third. Solar pulling back weak workers. Let's go back to everyone's camera. Let's just observe this. And already one of the drones going down. This hitting so early. Gumiho says, hey, if I just hit a bit earlier than you used to, I can catch you off guard. Already gets a Zergling and a drone. Third hatchery does go down though. Solar says, I've got to make sure that can't get blocked. Already a Hellion building behind this. So 2 Reapers and a Hellion, and actually he's not using it to... I was sure he was going to build a Marine to kill the Overlord, but apparently not prioritizing that. Command Center does go down on the natural, but of course it's a slow Command Center. So this is kind of a very aggressive opening. 2 Reapers and a Hellion are out super fast. The Queen is going to try and come forward. Does get a bit of damage, but gives up, of course, a little bit of movement there. Oh, it does get one of these, but you don't want to lose these Reapers. You definitely do not want to lose them. Link speed started, but it won't be done for another minute and a half. Oh, nice micro by Solar. Doesn't let him snipe the Zerglings there. And you can see the Reapers like, am I going to do that or not? Hellion runs in. Oh my god, Spore Trick comes in. Very nicely done. The Reapers will get out, and so will the Hellion. Man, there's a lot of distraction, but not a lot of direct damage from Gumiho just yet. And behind it, he's now building a Cyclone and a Medevac. So he's going to use the Cyclone and the Medevac to go around and pick off Overlords. Beyond's been using this a lot for Zerg recently. I really like it. It's super cute. You're super vulnerable to a Ling Flood if you do something like this, because they can just charge in and you don't really have Hellions. And he's going a 3rd gas, so he's going to follow this up with a Battle Cruiser. Watch for the Fusion Core to start up in a moment. Otherwise, why would you play 3 gas, right? I mean, the Overlord sees the 3rd gas. There's nothing that shoots up just now, but the Cyclone coming out will, of course, take it out. He's going to put the Starport on the Tech Lab. Is it a Raven? You're not going to build a Raven. That's madness. What is this? Okay, so he's going Raven Hellion. Oh my god, what a cool opening. This is fascinating, but I think he's going to build 2 Ravens, guys. I think he's going to build 2 or 3 Ravens and try to harass with it, knowing that Solar opts for a late lair a lot of the time, especially against this opening where you're in his face. He's going to lock onto this Overlord. Overlord's 100 minerals. Does take a while to kill, though, so you do have to be careful. He's got the Medevac there. Doesn't want to take too much damage on the Medevac. Good transfuse. And he says, okay, if you're going to transfuse it, I don't want to take too much damage on this. Hot tip, guys. You could bring 1 SCV in this Medevac, and if you leave it on auto repair, it will repair the Cyclone while flying around. I'm not even kidding. This is a real thing. I'm not joking. Sometimes I troll you guys about things. Try it out. Is it worth it usually? No, usually it's not worth it because you'd rather just mine more minerals at home. But just a cool little thing. Works for any mech unit, Hellions, whatever. They can repair each other as well inside a Medevac. So just a cute little thing. Oh, nice transfuse. Saves it once again. But here comes the Hellion Reaper. There's 2 Reapers and 5 Hellions. The Raven joining up. Cyclone did waste a lock on there. Definitely should be using that on this Overlord. The Overlord's trying to run away. Here we go. Watch out. Uh-oh. Good movement by Solar. He's going to save the Overlord. Hellion drop in the main. Does take out some of the Zerglings. Does keep all of them alive. Gumiho's unit retention is perfect so far. Hasn't lost a single unit. He's killed 12 units. An Overlord, 9 Zerglings, 2 drones. And he's keeping the Queen energy count reasonably low by making them transfuse constantly. The Cyclone, such an effective unit at that. 3rd Command Center is on the way behind this, by the way. It's almost finished in the wall, adding more barracks. So we will be playing Bio. Now, Gumiho usually prefers to play Bio Mine. So I think there is an argument to playing Mass Roach Ravager against Gumiho, just because he does play mech, but he also plays Mass Biomine rather than Biotank most of the time. It's a very scary push. The auto turrets could absolutely slay. There we go. Oh, he gets 3 auto turrets down before the Raven goes down. But the Hellions aren't really shooting the Zerglings, and that is an issue. The Zerglings actually gun down those turrets very quickly. They get a lot of damage done. Is it enough, though? The Cyclone locked onto the Overlord. I think it's time to back off for Gumiho. Even though the Queens are very low, I don't know if he can actually break through. That Queen on the top will go down, but good choice to pull back, I believe. He ends up losing 2 Ravens and 5 Hellions, but a lot of Zerg have gone down as well. This is such a weird situation. He finds himself now dropping scans, and that's where losing the Ravens is a problem. The way Solar pulled back, focused the Ravens, pulled back, shot the Ravens, like he kind of stutter-stepped his queens backwards. So he baited them in, made it hard for Gumiho to get the engagement that he wanted, and at the same time, managed to gun down the Ravens so they didn't have that follow-up. Really nicely done. Cyclone, Marine, and Medevac are still just hunting for Overlords right now. Zergling does see that it's a bio follow-up as well, but he also sees the second factory on the tech lab very quickly, so he knows there will be a fast drilling clause. Upgrade timings, let's check that. About 15-second to 20-second lead for Gumiho. Overall, though, Solar has survived through some absolute mad chaos. He lost 52 units for just 7 Terran units, but of course they're mostly Zerglings, couple drones, couple of queens. He's got creep spread. Does he have a lot of map control right now? No, he doesn't. But it's really hard for Gumiho now, as he takes a moment to add all of his structures, his macro, his upgrades, to keep that pressure going. And Solar is establishing a fourth, and he's droning it up to 78 workers, and he's looking really good. Gumiho runs in, gets a creep tumor, sees the fourth is almost done, and he's got his own fourth command center on the way, so he could definitely play a macro game from here. I just don't know if he's gonna. I feel like he's behind. I'll just say it plainly. I feel like he's a little bit behind. I mean, look at all the upgrades that are coming in, things like Overlord speed for utility. The creep spread being back is the one thing which Solar, is kind of missing out on. I just don't know if that really matters, because a Biomine army, as much as creep helps against it, it's not as useful as against a tank army. The Widowmine drop's been shut down so far. He's gonna get one in there, but Ling Bane's on top of him. Does burrow it right in the mineral line. Real nicely done there. It's 2 drones, not too bad. We'll try to go back towards the third base. Meanwhile, looks like Hellion Cyclone ran in on creep. Oh no! Oh, huge mistakes here. And it looks like he did get a few more drones, 4 drones on that one, but that looked like an F2A move or something like that. He loses a bunch of Hellions and a Cyclone and a Medevac. Does have a Hellbat Marine Widowmine army coming. Combat shields, 2/2 upgrades are on point. But +2 Carapace did get remembered. No +2 melee on the way. Hydra upgrades are both on the way though. And with 14 Hydras already out, that's going to be very useful against a guy who loves massing Widowmines. Solar, I was saying you could go Roaches against him because Ravagers can just keep biling the Widowmines down for free. But he said no, as long as I just get a good complement of Hydras out, I get the range upgrade for them, and then I can head towards Lurkers. And notice he's already going Lurker Den and Infestation Pit. Solar is playing a turtley style. It's his favorite style of Zerg versus Terran. He lets the Terran be the aggressor and take the momentum. He very rarely attacks. He almost plays like a European Zerg versus Terran style, where he's like, I'll just sit in my corner, and when I get to Hive Tech, I'll actually do things. But he very rarely mixes anything in before then. He's just a rock-solid, I am difficult to kill sort of player. Spores have moved over to the edge, but he is not zoning the most important edge down here, and so the double drop slides in the back. Marine Mine on the front as well, going to make things hard. Oh, Widowmine gets 12 kills. That drop picks up and moves around. These Marines going to try and fight as best they can in the main. Uh-oh, Hydra's on both sides, though. That drop gets pushed back. This drop gets pushed back. I can't believe he saved both Medevacs. Great micromanagement and multitasking from Gumiho, but also incredible cleanup by Solar. Look at this smooth cleanup on his army. He's got this squad of Lingbane Hydra in the bottom, and he's got his main army in the top. So he's decided the top is the main army. The drop squad is in the bottom, but actually he's even bringing the bottom army to the top. So it looks like he might be F2ing across this map. Ooh, that Widowmine not placed perfectly, unfortunately. They're a bit of a bummer for Gumiho. Hydralisk could clean it up, but the Overseer does move away. New army moving in on the south side. Gumiho wants to make things messy. He likes messy Zerg versus Terrans where his Widowmines can start to get massive hits. He wants to make the Zerg start A-moving and panic back and forth. He wants to keep pulling your army to the front and then dropping around the back. He wants to get you out of position and mess you up, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. He wants to set up these minefields and bait you into them. 5th Command Center is on the way. 4th Command Center is already turned into a planetary on location. He's doing very well in that regard. His 2/2 upgrades are finishing as we speak. This is a very nice little push for him, but good spreadies on the units from Solar. Not taking the giant hits. 2 Widowmines set up for just about nothing there, but there's so many more Widowmines where that came from, but they don't get the hits they wanted. And even though the bio does trade okay, the Widowmines did not get the hits they wanted. Another Widowmine is there. He's going to go clean that one up as Solar. Still a small army in the south, but I do not see a late game transition. Just lots of Marauders coming in to beef up the army, and this is against a guy who's making the range upgrade and the Adaptive Talons upgrade already queued behind that on the Lurker Den. The Vipers are building range upgrades, +3 carapace, adrenal glands, And Solar's creep control is getting much better in the middle. The north side still very far back, as is the bottom. I mean, Gumiho does a great job of making the map hard, but look at this. So many banelings. Uh-oh, Gumiho's got to be careful. He's got to be real careful. We're about to see a big fight get forced here. Army in the south gets mostly overrun. He saves 8 of those Marines. There are still some Widow Mines there, but Solar seems to be aware of that fact. And as Gumiho gets pushed back from a forward position, the chances of him getting those big, massive hits become smaller and smaller. Widow Mines in the south have been all defused at this point. Solar still doesn't have a second spore layered deeper into this main base, which I would have loved to see. But it's still... Oh, no! Great ambush by Solar. Finds the army. And Gumiho tries to stand his ground. A little bit ballsy there. Does lose a lot of bio units and a full medevac on the way out. Goes down to the Hydra's south side as well. He gets a decent Widow Mine hit, but overall, Solar's so good at being the one to engage when Gumiho's not ready and then disengage when things look kind of nasty for him. Vipers could come up and abduct these full medevacs, and that would probably be GG. As I say it, though, Gumiho gets a drop in the back, and an army on the front takes out a hatchery. That will go down at the same time. This drop is going to dive on past. Solar's going to counterattack. The SCVs have been clicked back, but not very far, unless this bio can stand, which... Oh my god, the bio is actually trading really well, but not for long. Not for long. The SCVs did not run very far away. On the north, he's doing a giant drop. The Marines in the drop get cleaned up. Solar with a pause! Go, go, yo, says Solar. Do they count down? 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. The command center is going to get taken down by the Hydras, almost certainly there. The Widow Mine in the bottom getting cleaned up. That's getting cleaned up. The Marines in the top do take out the hatchery. Solar just lost almost all of his mining hatcheries. He's only got his third base and his natural. This base might go down as well. The command center does survive. If Gumiho can repair that, he can bounce back. He's got mules. He's got 3 orbitals. He's got a few extra command centers, and he does take out that hatchery. The problem for him is how does he deal with the lurker shove? Because right now, all he's done, he's poked the bear. The bear has a giant throbbing mass of lurkers right now. You can see them there. They literally are throbbing. That's not me being facetious. And they are ready to burst out of those cocoons and explode on Gumiho's face. So this is going to be very, very nasty. I don't think he has the numbers to defend this shove. He's trying to distract him as Gumiho. He's like anything to just buy time right now. But look at that. The parasitic bombs, most of those Marines die in transit. And a big shove at the front. The numbers aren't really there for Gumi, bro. The Ling Bane shoves in. The lurkers must have already killed a bunch of stuff because Gumiho just does not have the supply. And he's going to have to tap out. Solar weathering the storm. A crazy early game. Solar's just too good on the defense. All right, going into game 2. Very nice defense in game 1. Solar. I think it all came back to the moment where he pulled his queens back versus the Ravens and got the snipes on both of those Ravens. I think if those Ravens survive, it's a very different game. The energy they'd gather over time would be great, but really well played. Used his Zerglings very well. Gumiho in the top right. Waterfall's a pretty small map. Very good for early turn pushes. On the other hand, I feel like Solar excels on this map. He's very good at just not letting you really ever expand here. This base over here. You can get 4 bases and turtle it for a bit, but your 5th base is going to die over there every time. I do wonder if any Terran has thought about taking this 3rd and then going for this 4th and this 5th and really do like a forward pushing sort of style to defend your bases. The Overlords have checked everywhere near the base for proxy barracks. They missed this area and this area. So those are the areas where proxy barracks could have worked. Gumiho is not really the sort of guy who wants to take down Solar with just a 2 racks Marine. I think he will mix in a 3 racks Marine SCV all in, something a bit more committed. But it all depends. Four Zerglings, 2 Queens. For those supporting, thank you very much, guys. I'll give you guys some big props in between the games after this one and play those alerts and whatnot. For now, Solar's going for the 28th 3rd hatch. So he gets the Overlord, 6 Lings, and then goes for the 3rd hatchery. I do wonder if he'll go for the quick Ling speed or if he'll just go straight for the 3rd Queen. Nice pullback on that drone. Oh, this one's getting low. Oh, he loses it. He loses a drone. Oh, and he has to do another Spore Crawler trick to stop himself from losing that one. Gumiho with a very good start. Nicely done. Build 6 Zerglings, and still, I've criticized the 6 Zerglings from Solar a lot over the last year, and I'll keep doing it. The reason is, having the extra Zerglings does not stop the Reaper doing that. Obviously, they can still force Spore tricks, and you're just better off having 1 more drone than 6 Lings, in my opinion. Reaper hops in, is going to go for a little bit of a loop-de-loop, sees if he can get a Zergling. He's unable to, and he does! Gets it all the way out. Nicely done. And it's a 3cc opening. 3 command center for Gumiho. Cool. Now, I wonder, Gumiho's the kind of guy I don't imagine just playing 3cc mech. 3cc bio. Like, it doesn't feel like his style, so I almost feel like with a guy like Gumiho, I would expect him to drop a quick third gas and go 2-port BC. And it's a delayed 2-port BC, but you can have such a big economy, you can go straight into a powerful, you know, Cyclone, Hellion, then Siege Tank mech style. So start off with a heavy harassment and kind of go from there. We'll see what he has in mind. For now, it is just Hellions on the way. He's going straight to 4 Hellions and a Starport. Will be swapping onto the Tech Lab for the Banshee, no doubt. You kind of need a Banshee just to be safe against the Roach aggression that can come out on this map. It crosses the map so darned quickly. And Starport is going to land on the Tech Lab. Yep, okay, he does go Cloak. He's going to invest in it. Meanwhile, if we take a look at Solar's build order, Solar is on 4 Queens, going up to 6 right now. It's a little supply blocked on 58, so definitely needs to start a few more Overlords. And surprising that he isn't building another Queen in the main, so I think he's going to have to just... I think he's going to go very quick Lair. Yeah, I think he'll be starting a Lair and then a Baneling Nest soon. He's not resaturated his gas, though. Solar with a bit of an odd opening. Starts 2 more Queens, so he will go 8 Queens. He's got a lot of lava sitting there. Not the cleanest opening for Solar. This is not that heavy, the harassment out of Gumiho. But Solar, he does get a Zergling in, sees the 3rd command center lifting up, sees it, it's Hellion Banshee. So overall, that's some very good info. He starts his lair, realizing he'll need Overseers to defend. Man, his gas income sucks, though. He's only now put back on gas. And also, only fully saturating the 3rd at 450. Against light harassment like this, I think Solar would like that to be saturated at least 10 or 15 seconds earlier. And with such a mineral-heavy style, he definitely should be opting for a very quick 4th hatchery. Notice he's already floating a little bit of minerals, so I wouldn't mind him doing that at all. 8 Queens are out, 9th one building. Hellions coming in along with that Banshee. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 active tumors as well as the one in the main base. It's a lot of energy that is not transfuse energy. That's why these Queens are going to go easy on the creep spread for a little while. You can see they're going to start to gather at least a couple of transfuses in the bank. Extra barracks going down. He is indeed playing something approximating just a normal... It's just a normal, I'm playing bio after 3cc. What the hell, man? Gumiho. I didn't realize he had an inclination to play this sort of style, but it's kind of unexpected, especially after that last game. He's going after the Queens a little bit here. Gets a few of these creep tumors. I'm surprised he didn't finish that last one off, but scan was about to run out, so maybe just mistimed that. Queens are there to defend. 1 on the base, and the Spore gets a few hits in as well. Spore on the natural as well. One of the Banshees being deep in the red means this is very fragile. Hard to get in there and find much damage at all. And grabs one more drone, but these Banshees not long for this world. No way in, no way out of here. Hellions do come forward and scan, trying to distract the Queens for long enough, but they are on top of it. And, oh, it's barely going to get out, assuming it's... No, he hasn't clicked it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hey, and it escapes very well. Oh, my... And then he just leaves it. Oh, but the Queen stops to put a tuber down. What is this gentleman's agreement? Creep does get completely scanned off on that left side. He's using a lot of scans to take that out. Tanks are on the way, as well as a lot of Marines. Ooh, I'm starting to feel like this might be a style where we see 3 more barracks go down. Armory is down, so he wants to start his 2-2 the moment 1-1 finishes. Gets another creep tumor there. Doing a good job of picking off the creep, but it's not really direct damage. Solar's at 73 workers, and it's looking pretty fantastic. 9 Queens, 12 Banelings, 26 Zerglings. Hellions roaming around. Marines moving down the right side. They might look to dive on that base and maybe get a snipe. There's 12 Banelings. Baneling speed is finished as well, so he's ready. And this comes in, but he's not going to find anything. Yeah. Gumiho doesn't even stand his ground for a moment. He's like, no. Oh, but look at that. A tank is here now. Okay. Hellions should probably come around and join up on the right side because they could morph into Hellbats now. I really think they should. And you can see he's actually queued them all the way over to that right side. So very nice moves. I like the depot to give a bit of warning if there's a Ling Run by coming in. Marines pick off a few of these guys. And remember, he's got a siege tank there. So he's going to try and lure the units into the siege tanks. 31 Marines are out. He hasn't started 2-2. Very important that Gumiho queues up that 2-2 upgrades. Cloaked Banshee survived, repaired, went back in. Does have 2 kills. Could clear some creep off with it as well. The Hellbats are a bit clumped on the flank of that. But, oh, he gets a bunch of drones. Man, that's a lot of Ling Bane, though. Hydras are coming out as well now. Marine tank rallying across the map. 2-2 still hasn't started. +2 carapace has started for Solar. Gumiho's given up his advantage. He does get a bunch of worker kills. I mean, he's trading good. Really good. He's only lost 2 units this game, but I've just got to question the lack of 2-2 upgrades and focusing on the Banshee and the Micro a bit too much as Gumiho. We'll see if this matters. Right when there's a 2-2 versus 1-1 upgrade difference, that's where we're going to really see the payoff of this. +2 attack finally starts. Doesn't have enough gas for the armor. He forgot combat shields for a long time as well. He's starting 2 more factories, so he's going to play triple factory mass marine tank. So he's going to float out his 4th. The thing is, he took these gases a bit too late. He's just started mining from them. So it feels like Gumiho is playing a style which it's not well planned out. He's choosing on the fly to do these things, and the gas is a little bit low to keep up that tank production. He's adding 2 more barracks, 3 more barracks, in fact. A lot of production is coming down. He's going to go for a big push. If he can deny this base, at least he can keep Solar on 4 bases rather than 5, which is something. He's still got a double drop on the right side doing what it can. He's got nothing at home to defend, so if Solar were to take a risky attack right now, he could do very well. It's a pretty safe bet, though, that the player's not going to do that. The Ling's coming into the Hellbat Marine tank, going for a big surround. My god, crazy move for Solar, but he's going to remove the front of this army. Oh, the Siege tank barely surviving. Marine drop, runs in on the right side, gets a Queen, does lose the Marines to the Banelings, though. Marines do not have shields yet. It's going to finish in a moment. So there we go. Combat shields is now done. +2 carapace not quite finished, so it looks like these fights aren't happening with that upgrade advantage we talked about. He left nothing to guard his tanks. A big mistake here for Gumiho. Looks like the Banelings connected with some of his Marines on the front as well, as that count is diminished. Gumiho does deny a base, but Solar immediately popping the base back up, and he's got a hive almost finished. Lurkaden only now starting. Gumiho's going to pull back to lick his wounds. He's got 3 factories pumping tanks. He is queuing up a few Widow Mines mixed in as well, but I think that is maybe a misclick. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a 9 siege tank almost all-in push. The problem is, if Vipers start up immediately, Solar will have Blinding Clouds in time to stop that. Feels like Solar's just slightly ahead in the tech in this regard, and especially if he can clean up a few more tanks before that even happens, or keep the fighting back on that side of the map, that could be huge. Zergling Runby comes in, but the planetary is almost erected. It may be a little bit slow to get it up, but it does get there in the end. Zergling's on move command. Marines will gun down a fair few of those. You can see, of course, at this moment, +2 carapace versus no +2 attack, but 2-2 finally kicking in for Gumiho. +3 carapace on the way, +1 range, 2 Vipers. Gumiho's going to start marching these tanks across this left side of the map. I'd like to see 1 siege tank up there as well. He's actually expanding to the far right at the same time as pushing the left side. That is a fascinating choice. Okay. Yeah, I think it makes more sense to push the right side of the map. I like this tank just because it controls space. Makes it like you have to commit out beyond your territory if you want to get out there. 8 siege tanks, 10 marauders, 56 marines. Just an 8 marine drop alone on the left side of the map. Going to try and fight these queens, but queens are tanky lasses, and they do push that one back. The marines all alive, though. We'll go back for more. Nice little push here. He can deny this hatchery, can Gumiho. You got to be careful, though. These corridors are dangerous for Zerg to attack into, but there's also no spreading room. Those marines need to be better spread than that. They are way too clumped up against the wall there. That being said, Banelings don't want to run into Marauder Siege Tank. Blinding Clouds could destroy this corridor if he could flank it, but that would mean moving through high ground tanks at the same time. Marines on the left get hit by Banelings. Blinding Clouds coming in, and the Ling Bane swarms on the right side. Solar is gonna go through and break through most of it, but not the entire army. And that is a costly trade for Solar. Solar's down 4,000 resources and units lost. He will lose this base. And of course, he's doing a good job of trying to control the creep and so on, but Gumiho's doing a good job of keeping the pressure on him. As I say that, though, the Lurker Viper count will keep growing. 3 tanks are building at a time. Gumiho is just playing a raw pushing style. But remember, there's no ghosts, there's no Vikings. He has no counter to the Vipers. They will always get amazing value. So Gumiho's whole plan relies on him continuing to both push and expand and push and expand. He's got to keep that pressure on, or he will fall behind. His +3 attacks on the way. It's about 3/4 done, but +3 carapace is almost finished. It's even further ahead. So Solar maintaining good upgrade situation throughout this game. Push is now going up the guts through the middle. That's a dangerous one. You get easily flanked out there. Gumiho's army's in a crazy position. I don't know if I agree with this. I like the tanks behind the river, but unless he's going to pick up, he's so deep on creep with his bio army, and it's a disastrous decision, and he throws away momentum in this game. An ill-fated journey across that river crossing. And you see the power of the terrain. The river crossing is huge. It ducks that tank to the low ground. There's more bio coming forward. Gumiho, I feel like, had such good numbers and was in such a good position. But to move across that bridge crossing with such a small section of his army, expose it on creep with no escape path, big issue for him. On the other hand, Solar doesn't really have that much going for him. Despite that fight not being good for Gumiho in terms of, like, position, guess what? He's got momentum already. Remember that Solar has not been able to make that giant economy. His Lurker morph has been just so delayed in general by all these fights. So even though the fights themselves aren't pretty for Gumiho, he's still up ahead in the units lost. And the skirmishes like this are always very efficient for Gumiho. He gets to take down so many units. The Lurkers, though, Lurkers, of course, the absolute bane of bio on the ground. I love the way the tanks are splitting the map down the middle using this river. I mean, the river is incredible. But the Ghost Academy is only now starting. And even though you can split the map, you've got to remember that this is still a nasty situation to find yourself in. One of the queens goes down. Solar's just so quick to pull back with his queens, making it really hard for Gumiho to find the fight that he wants. Does manage to split off one of the parasitic bomb medevacs, the other one as well. Some of his bio does get stuck out front, but not too much of it. And he's going to pull back on the river crossing. I don't know if that's the right fight for Solar. Good engagement for Gumiho there. Does lose some units, but overall does all right. Harassment Lurker accidentally burrows in range of the planetary, but quick reposition, nicely done. And as long as Gumiho drops another scan, he's got it, but he's got to realize, yeah, that scan was always going to expire. Nicely done by Gumi. He's got to keep this creep back as well. That creep gives such a vision and a momentum advantage whenever he jumps on the army. Gumiho's in range of this base. He says, there's no way I'm going to let you mine from this silly boy. Does get rid of that front Lurker. The Marauders take out a queen as well. And here we go, trying to come forward. That tank is just barely out of range. And oh my god, he's going to go for it. Blinding Clouds are going to be real scary here. Ooh, he does get one of the Vipers, does Gumiho. Very nicely done. The Ling Bane coming in. The Marauders on the left hold strong, but on the right, the tanks get broken. Ooh, just not quite having enough units there. The Marauders will take out a base in the top left, but he's going to take so much damage. Just the moment you don't have any like Marines or Hellbats or anything helping defend the tanks, they become so exposed. And there's all these tanks down this right side, but losing a lot of workers there. Those tanks actually going to get some shots off. These medevacs trying to come home, but now the Lurkers can shove the left side as well. Oh man, Gumiho trying to quickly pull back, frantically trying to hang on and defend. He has so many command centers, but Solar once again weathers the storm. We pointed it out earlier. Those Vipers were built in time. Gumiho gets momentum. He gets map control. But Solar says Lurkers are a sharp power spike where it slows the game down. And I feel I can always outplay you in the late game. Gumiho, once again, dropping another series to his nemesis Solar.